I can either have an ectopic pregnancy and like possibly die, or I can have a miscarriage and, you know, be okay. If those are my choices, then the miscarriage is
the obvious choice.
The obvious choice. Visually cheating on me.
It's emotional cheating.
No, your emotions aren't invested, so it can't be emotional.
Yes, it is.
Watching them dance?
I don't want you to think that I'm emotionally cheating on you. That's a form of emotional cheating. If you're like, it's like imagine if I went behind your back and like watched porn. That's
behind my back.
This is a great way to start a podcast.
This is a great way to start a podcast.
Are we recording?
Yes. Like if I went behind your back and watched porn, that is like a form of.
How could you?
If I watched porn and told you about it.
After everything we've been through.
I don't go by
Episode 1, episode 2.
You're funny. You're funny. You can start the podcast. Good afternoon, evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Unsingle podcast.
Welcome to the Unsingle podcast.
We're not therapists. We're not anything professional in the sense of having a license. We're just two people who are trying to share our love story and love experience to the world.
I'm Chantelle.
Hey, Chantelle. I'm Jamal.
Yes, we should probably say our names sometimes.
Okay. Jamal and Chantelle. Shannon Mall. Shannon Mall,
Shannon Mall.
We've been trying to do something fresh and funky for them, but we haven't had the opportunity.
Well, we have one opportunity.
Do the skit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had one opportunity to do it, but we didn't have the time. I gave you a scenario that somebody gave us.
Well, it's not the time. You just been, under the weather.
That's what I mean. We didn't have the time.
I got you.
Yeah.
So Shannon's been under the weather. So
yeah.
We've been working on that.
Yeah.
We've been behind on a lot of things. But yeah, what do we have for today?
I mean, I feel like we might as well, we can get into that a little bit.
Get into
what
being
we've been
under the weather?
Yeah.
Oh, you want to talk about that?
I feel like we should.
I thought we should too, but I didn't know how, I know how you are.
No, I think we should talk about it because I feel like it made me realize, not even realize, there's a lot of things that you go through in relationships and in marriage when one party is like, not able to, I feel like I'm trying to speak around things, so that's why I'm like, we should just talk about it.
Yeah, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Do you want me to talk about it or you want to talk about it?
I can talk about it.
Okay.
We'll share the stories.
Yeah.
You can interject and so on and so forth.
We can start with Tuesday. People love stories.
Yeah.
Last Tuesday.
Yeah, last Tuesday.
Well,
before that.
It's way before that, actually.
So
okay.
let's say about 2 weeks ago, I started experiencing a lot of abdominal pain. I'm on birth control. I have IUD.
Yeah.
And I've had that for about 3 years, and ever since I've had that, I have not had a period. Like, I think I got the IUD, and then like maybe first 2 months, like I had weird, cycle things happening, and then after that, I haven't had a period since. So 2 weeks ago, I started having really bad cramps out of nowhere. Like literally, I was like laid out on the floor one day. I think you were playing a video game, and you came out, and you were like,
yeah, you were like,
going?
She was literally on the floor, like a shrimp balled up.
That thing took me out, and it was really, really weird. I just kind of figured it's like a period thing happening, just kind of sporadically, randomly. So that happened, and then a couple days later, I started bleeding.
Yeah.
I don't know if we need a trigger warning. I think, and that could be something that could be done in post if we need to, because it does deal with some sensitive topics. But anyways. Yeah. So about 3 or 4 days later, after the cramp started and you found me on the floor, is when I started bleeding. And again, I'm just thinking like, oh, okay, I haven't had my period in 3 years, so this is just it coming back with a vengeance. Like all the feelings are happening here and now.
Yeah.
So I kind of didn't put much thought into it. I did take some just Tylenol. I'm also the type of person where I try not to take medicine if I don't need to. I'd be trying to like power through.
Yeah, I'm saying.
To my own demise.
Yeah.
But
there's a lot of healthcare professionals we don't necessarily know if we trust. So.
Yeah. So I started the bleeding kind of started, and then it just never stopped. The cramping never stopped. The bleeding never stopped. It just kept getting worse. So like a week goes by, and this is like now Thanksgiving week that this happens. We're on a trip with my family for Thanksgiving, and the cramping is just getting worse. The bleeding is getting worse. It's not stopping. So now I'm just kind of starting to feel like, okay, this is not normal here, because even the medicine I did, like there were a couple of days where I took medicine and even the medicine wasn't helping. Like I would take like extra strength Tylenol, that wouldn't help, So we get back home and I call my doctor, kind of calling and saying like, hey, I think I need to come in, my OBGYN. And I'm like, I think I need to come in. I'm thinking maybe like my IUD is like dislocated or like something, because now I've been bleeding out for like 10 days.
Yeah, you're like, bro, what's going on?
Yeah.
And on top of that, with pain.
With the pain on top of it,
yeah.
that medicine is not helping or anything. So.
And it was bad, y'all. Like one day she was literally like walking like this. And we're like, okay.
Yeah. So I called my OBGYN, kind of tell them what's going on. And they're like, oh, well, your doctor isn't available till next week. That's as soon as we can get you in. I'm like, okay, like that's probably fine. Like I can thug it out for a week and figure out what's going on. Because again, I'm just thinking like it's probably just a bad period, or I just need to check on the IUD situation. So I make the appointment, and then the next day we were filming a sketch for YouTube. We had some friends over. Jordan was here, my sister Naomi was here. We were all filming, and I'm like struggling through the day.
Yeah, like straight. You were in a sketch, and like there was like no movement.
Yeah.
There was like barely any movement.
Yeah.
Because everything hurt.
Everything hurt. Like if I laughed, it hurt. Like I was just like out of it. So that was like when we made the decision, like, okay, we might need to go to like urgent care. Because if it is like causing this much pain, even if it's just the IUD, like we need to get that situated, because I'm literally not able to function at this point. So I powered through and we finished the sketch, and like literally as soon as everybody left, we just very casually were just like, okay, let's just go to urgent care. There's one like across the street. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
So we go to the urgent care, and we get there. I think the first thing they do is like they, take some vitals, have me take a pee test. Yeah, and then after waiting for just a little bit, because it wasn't like, I feel like we were maybe one other person was there, so it didn't take all that long. They bring us back to the doctor. And I'm telling her like my symptoms, what's going on. And she's like, oh, well, something like that, we would need a sonogram. Like we don't have the equipment to be able to like.
Everybody went home for the day.
Yeah, like the people who would do that, they left like earlier, so we don't have the equipment right now to do that. And but just like, keep telling me, like tell me what are you feeling, like what are you experiencing, so she can like help, help me figure things out and see like the urgency, if any, of everything. And so as I'm like talking to her, one of the nurses knock on the door, and like I can't see her because her face is covered by the door, but I see the doctor talking to her, and the nurse is just like, I think she's like, it's positive, is what she said. And the doctor's like, oh, what are you talking about? She had
like a COVID test in her hand.
She had a COVID test in her hand.
And the pregnancy test.
And a pregnancy test.
Yeah.
And the nurse is like, no, her pregnancy test came back positive.
Yeah.
And what happened for you? Because
I was in the corner sitting down, and I was just chilling, like another day. And then I remember the door was opening with the transaction between them two, and as soon as like she said it, like I just like went into shock.
Literally, y'all, I look at a single tear. It's like a Denzel movie. A single tear streamed down his eye.
Because Shan knows how much I really want kids.
Yeah.
Like she knows, but I'm like waiting, because her one request is that we get married first. She doesn't want to be pregnant during marriage.
Yeah, during our wedding ceremony. I want to like enjoy all the things.
She wants to be able to enjoy, drinking and doing all that stuff, but she can't do
that.
Not
feeling lethargic, not even drinking, just like being able to move.
Also not being like big for your wedding.
I already bought a wedding dress, so I can't.
Can't go back.
Yeah.
So she said it, and like I literally went like I looked up. I was looking up, and I just remember sitting down like this, and I heard she's pregnant, and then like I just remember like looking up, and just my face was just like.
Yeah. He literally like zoned out. Yeah.
And then I did start like my eyes got watery, and I just started tearing up.
Yeah.
And then you weren't.
Yeah, we both had a different reaction. Like we both zoned out when we heard that.
Yeah.
But I feel like he zoned out. Like he heard it's like positive, like she's pregnant, and like immediately went like happiness, like oh my God, we're gonna have a baby.
Yeah.
Versus me, where I heard pregnant, and I know like the things my body is doing is
Yeah.
not conducive to a pregnancy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, just shocked. I think my literal first words to the doctor, I was like, she's like, you're pregnant. I'm like, no, I'm not. And she's like, no, you're pregnant.
Yeah.
And like, that's when I looked at you and this single tear fell and like, I'm just like, oh my God. And so from then the doctor was kind of just like, I feel like at that very moment, that's when the urgency like happened
Yeah.
in the doctor's voice.
If y'all hear sirens, it's because we live in the city, and that's
Yeah.
just how it is.
Yeah, so I feel like that when the doctor immediately became like, there was a sense of urgency in her voice where she literally was like, okay, you guys need to go to the emergency room.
Like, yeah, you got to go now.
Yeah.
Like, she was like, because you could essentially, like, it could be bad. She didn't specifically say anything.
Yeah, because at this point with me having an IUD, me being pregnant means that there's like a 90% chance, I don't know literally if that's the number, but very, very, very high chance that it's an ectopic pregnancy, which means that the pregnancy is not in the uterus, which is where it's supposed to be. It's somewhere outside of the uterus, which is not viable.
Took us like 7 days to learn that word.
It took I'm surprised I said it right just
Bro,
now.
I think, yeah, it took a while.
I'm still not sure if I said it right. I
No,
probably
you did.
say it wrong throughout this episode.
Ectopic pregnancy.
Yeah. So she's not really going into detail. She's not saying much because we had a lot of questions, but she's like trying to tell us like,
Yeah,
we need to go.
Yes, now.
So she's like, tell me which emergency you're going to so I can call ahead
yeah.
and make sure you guys don't have to like wait and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we leave.
Whole time I'm still in shock.
Whole time you're still in shock, but there was a moment that happened where it's like, where we were leaving, because now it's just us by ourselves, like trying to process it, trying to find the emergency room and process it. And like, we call my mom, to let her know what's going on. And because we called her before we went to the urgent care, because we called her before. So we called her as soon as we left, like kind of let her know what's going on. And she's like in shock. And she's like, and I have her on speakerphone, and she's like, yeah, like you can literally die.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like hearing her say that, like it put a whole different lens on everything.
Yeah. I mean, I broke down.
Yeah.
In the car.
Yeah.
Like for like a solid 15 to 30 seconds. Because in my mind, I'm more reactionary. So like, for me, I do get anxiety, but I don't get it like most people get it, because I need something to actually happen for me to like worry about a situation. I'm not the type of person who's gonna be like, oh, I'm worried about a situation that hasn't happened yet. It has to happen for me. So like the fact that your mom was like she could die, us not having any information, because we got rushed out of the that urgent care so fast, and she like seemed like it was like, yo, like you need to get to our emergency room now. So like those combinations, like for a second I was like, damn, like I might lose my wife.
Yeah.
And like, because like that process, like it processed, and then like I couldn't even control myself. I just broke down. I was like, it wasn't even like baby tears or like Denzel tears. It was like
full
2-year-old, full blown, like crying.
Yeah.
And then like I saw Shan's face, and she was just like, she started to like,
I started freaking out
and crying. And I was like, hold it together.
I mean, that was my first time seeing you like that.
Yeah.
For sure. Like I've seen you tear up before.
Yeah. But like
I've never seen you like break down like that. Ever.
Yeah. I've only done that one other time outside of being a kid and doing it as an adult when my grandfather died. That's the only other time I've ever like broke down and cried. But like, yeah, it's just the thought of losing you in that moment was like, it's terrifying.
Yeah.
And I was just like, damn, it took me 35 years to find you. Now you about to be going. Like, I just was like, I don't know. It got me. But then like I saw your face, and that's what made me like, okay, like this is happening to her. Like I need to be strong so she can like get through this. Because I saw your face, because you were like starting to cry and like panic a little bit. And I was like, damn, I got to be strong. At least in this moment. I can cry, but like do it later. But like, at least in this moment, I need to be strong because shit, you're just hearing that you might die. It's probably it's like even worse.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think I don't know if the reality even hit me in that moment. I just feel like there was so much going on. Like, it's so much information all at once. Like, to go from, the way everything was so casual, I was just like, oh, like, I'm not feeling well. Maybe I'll call my doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It hurts a little bit. Like, it's probably my IUD. Like, let me just go to urgent care and like check it out real quick. To go from like that to just like, you're pregnant, shock, super shock.
Yeah.
Not only you're pregnant, you could die.
Yes. It escalated. So we were just filming a sketch, laughing.
We were
eating.
literally just
Everyone
filming
was
a
having
sketch.
fun, having a good time. And then all of a sudden, it's like in 3 hours' time, you might literally, we don't know,
Yeah.
but you could die.
Yeah. So
And
yeah.
specifically, the way that can happen is with the ectopic pregnancy, because when you get pregnant naturally, it happens in the fallopian tubes.
And drops to the
Sperm goes
uterus.
to fallopian tubes. Egg drops in fallopian tubes. You get inseminated. And if someone's a doctor, you can super clarify. This is just what we've researched since this
From
has
our
happened.
understanding of
Yeah.
things, we
Then it
had a crash course in this.
drops into the uterus. The thing is with her IUD, most of her eggs don't drop into the uterus. That's why she doesn't have periods. So I think the IUD was causing the natural pregnancy not to drop. And because of that, she's pregnant in a different part of her body.
Yeah, I
not
believe
in her,
it was
in her uterus.
I believe it's in my ovaries.
Yeah, it was in your ovaries, which my stuff is not supposed to even get up there. But it
Yeah.
did. He's a
Yeah.
warrior. He's a fighter.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
motherfucker- John Wick in that thing,
Bro.
boy. That boy was
Bro,
John Wick.
I don't know what was going on
I'm
in
just
there.
saying, he was John Wick.
Yeah.
Anyways,
So it can so if the pregnancy is not happening in the uterus and it's happening outside of the uterus, it can basically rupture like
Yes.
all the stuff that's going on,
fallopian tubes, all of that stuff,
and that
which can
caused me
cause
to internal bleeding, and you kind
and
of
she
bleed
would
out.
essentially could die from there.
Yeah. So
So
so all that happened. So we're in the car on our way to the emergency room. It's like a 20-minute drive because of traffic, maybe.
it was about 10-15.
I feel like it was longer, but okay, maybe
Maybe
it was a
longer
lot
'cause we
going
were
on.
going through a lot.
Yeah.
When we found out because we were driving.
Yeah,
When we got to the
so
emergency room.
we get to the emergency room. We still did end up having to wait for quite a bit, I feel
Yeah.
like, but
We spent like a solid 6 or 7 hours there.
yeah, so they take my vitals, and the first thing they have me do after that is go and do a sonogram.
Mm-hmm.
And the sonogram people, I don't know if it's always like this, but I feel like the sonogram people, like they not there to say anything. They just be looking around.
sonogramming.
They just be sonogramming,
Ultrasounding.
taking pictures and like
They don't
making
say
faces,
nothing.
but they don't like say anything. I'm like, I didn't ask too many questions because in my head I'm just like, I don't know. There was just, I don't know.
I think it's a legal thing
Yeah, maybe.
because they're not doctors. So they can't sit here and tell you sonogram something and be like, you have this. Because I
Right.
think legally the doctor has to tell you that.
Maybe that could be
That's
true.
what I feel like because it happened when we went to your OBGYN
That could be true.
too.
I also think now that I'm reflecting on it, I think I was scared to ask too many questions because like
Yeah.
obviously while we were driving, like we were like researching stuff and Googling stuff, like, and everything was just like death,
Yes.
like all bad. So I think I was like scared to ask
Yeah,
any
you were like- you
questions.
kept saying you don't want to know because I was doing the research.
Yeah, he was looking stuff up and I was just like,
you
I
were
don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
Like
don't
I
wanna
just
know.
would rather a doctor like look and tell me what is
Yeah.
factually happening as
And
opposed to Google.
I like to know what's going on because I don't want to be caught off guard.
Mm-hmm.
I can prepare myself when I have all the information.
Yeah.
So Shane's like, if it's bad, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
But if
he
it's
literally
good, tell
asked me. He was like, "What do you want to know?" I was like, "If it's bad, don't tell me nothing." So I do the sonogram. That takes a while. They don't say anything, and I have to go back and wait. They're like, "We'll write up a report, and then the doctors will come see you or whatever." So we go back in the waiting room, and then they call me back into the like actual emergency room where I have to like get completely undressed. I put on the robe. I'm like got tubes connected to stuff.
Yeah.
I'm on the whole thing.
The whole nine.
The whole nine. So even that by itself is like, I don't know. It's just like, I felt like I'm like watching myself, like I'm watching a TV show,
Yeah.
like happening.
Yeah.
Cause I just straight up feel like everything escalated so quickly. But,
So quickly.
but yeah, so we're in there waiting. And then the, OBGYN comes in. He's-
Let me get started by him.
Yeah.
Buddy came in there looking like Dr. Robotnik. he looked like he didn't belong.
He
we
didn't
didn't,
look.
we didn't say what hospital it was, did we?
No.
Okay, good. I'm just gonna say, Buddy did not look like he should be an OBGYN.
No.
Because if I'm a female, if I'm a woman,
I was like, oh God, please don't let him have
I
to
was
be
like,
the one that
they're
like
not
checks
going
me.
by my vagina if I'm one of the, like,
Yeah,
boy,
he just was very like,
big guy. You said, what was the word you used?
I don't even remember.
But it's not even, like, even being a big guy is not bad. Like, he was like,
no, it's just
he
I
was
didn't like
big.
that he was. I didn't like that he was sloppy. Like
Yeah.
his scrubs were like dirty and like had stuff on
Yeah.
them. Like he had hiccups while he was talking to us, so it was just like very
Yeah.
like jarring. It was, and like the way he talks, it was like none of it was comforting.
He looked very sloppy. Like, he literally sits on his couch and just, like, eats and watch TV for the most part.
It was just the mess on his clothes for me.
Yeah.
And
I
like,
was like,
yeah, but anyways, so that's the person who comes in and like is telling us that basically from what they see from the sonogram, they see something on my left ovary.
a speck.
They don't know
could
what
be
it
a
is.
cyst, but it was the size of a cyst.
Yes.
But it doesn't mean it is one. They just
Yeah.
saw a little speck.
Right. So they saw that. And he said, to kind of wrap it up, he said that our options were either they have this drug called methotrexate or something.
Or something like that, yeah.
Which is what they typically use for cancer patients. But it's a shot that they inject you with.
It reduces the cell rate, so it slows down the cell rate. So if, like, when you have
Because with a
kids,
pregnancy, it's basically cells like doubling.
forming and doubling, and it just slows it down. So you
Yeah.
had that option.
Correct. Then second option is if they happen to see something bigger, I would have to have it surgically. They would have to surgically go in and take care of it. Or third option is that if it's a miscarriage, I can kind of let it happen naturally.
Yeah.
Was kind of our understanding. I don't know if that like technically and medically if that's what you would describe it as, but how we understood it is that it's like I basically could have a natural miscarriage.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if he mentioned it or if it was the doctor after him that mentioned it, that there was also a chance that it's a viable pregnancy.
Yeah, there was a very small chance.
Very small chance. But I
Yeah.
feel like that was the first time somebody said that to us.
Yeah.
Like this whole time we're just like, okay, like it's either like death or a non-viable pregnancy. But then the doctor was like, there is a chance that it's a pregnancy. And
Which I was hanging on to.
yeah, I feel like that, it was one of those moments where, so like I think they left us alone for a little bit and we were like, at that point we were like, okay, we have to talk
That's
about
right.
it.
We hadn't even talked about what we would go, like what we would want.
Yeah. Like we were like, well, if it is like, what do we want to do?
Yeah, do we want to have the baby? Do we not? Like,
Yeah.
But we came to the conclusion that like, our first option would, like, naturally, because Shan doesn't, like, you know, certain things going into her body. And
Yeah, I
then
didn't
when
want to
they
take
said
no
that they treated
cancer
cancer
patients.
patients with it, she was just like, nah, like, I
Yeah.
don't want that.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, our first option is to naturally let it happen, like, let it go. And then the second option would be to, if it is a viable pregnancy, shoot, I guess we having a baby.
Listen, my thoughts on it was like, if, like you said, like this is some kind of warrior sperm
I'm a
happening.
samurai now.
Who am I to like shut it down? Sorry. I'm still going through some like pains and stuff.
You're still.
But yeah, I literally was like, I feel like we have no choice but to like see it through if it is a viable pregnancy.
Yeah,
Like
it's a sign.
Like, yeah, it's got to be a sign because ain't no way, like we went through all this. I have a whole IUD. Your sperm reached somewhere it wasn't supposed to reach. My egg dropped where it wasn't supposed to drop. And like it's a viable pregnancy. Like we got to see it through, my boy.
We got to see it through.
Yeah, but I feel like that was the first time that we had like hope, like that we were like, oh, like
Yeah.
there's a chance of like life
Yeah.
through this, and like we both want kids, and even though it wouldn't be on the timeline that we wanted.
Yeah, it was something that we were both excited for.
Yeah.
I didn't like the emergency room situation. I just felt like they didn't really care for Shan. It was almost just like, it's weird because we they came. It took forever. Shan finally gets into the room, and you basically like have the doctors come in one at a time. We had a doctor and an OBGYN, and then they came. They both said their piece. They're both had difference. There's a strong difference of opinion on what was going on. Like the guy was like, "No, there's no way you're having a baby." And the doctor was like, "No, you can still have a viable
Correct.
pregnancy."
Yes.
You know, and then they
Yes.
like get out of the room and have a conversation. We can still clearly hear them, but
Yeah.
like they talk about you, and like you couldn't, like we can't hear you.
Yeah, I think something that did trigger me
Yeah.
during that interaction.
The pain tolerance.
Yeah, because I
Yeah.
came in there, I let them know I was in a lot of pain. They did ask me if I wanted to take anything, and at the time I did initially say no, because I was lying. I told them I have a range of like I'm either at an 8 when it comes to pain or like a 2. In that moment, I was like at a 2 because I was like laying down. I was like more comfortable than usual. But I would like randomly get like it would jump to an 8 and then come back down. So anyways, I did tell them that, and when that OBGYN came in, that guy, he like, I think he said to me, he was like, "Oh, you don't look like you're in pain.
Yeah.
Like you look like you're fine."
Yeah.
And I kind of, it triggered me because I feel like in general, when it comes to Black women and seeking medical help, that's like a common thing that they experience. Like they're not taken seriously. Like Black women aren't taken seriously. They're not. And I think there was even like a study that was done, I think like back in the day, like there was a thing where they scientifically said Black women don't experience like pain. Like they don't have, they have a higher pain tolerance and stuff. And therefore like they don't need certain medications or da-da-da, like they're fine. And so like when Black women do come in and they say they're in pain and it's not taken seriously, like that's a recurring thing that you see in situations, and a lot of women like die from it because either they're not able to be their own advocate, or even when they are trying to advocate for themselves, it's not taken seriously because the doctor's like, "Oh, she's probably fine. Oh, she's being dramatic. Oh, it's not that serious. She seems fine to me."
Yeah.
And so I think hearing him say that was definitely triggering. And then like, not only did he say it to me, but like you said, when he leaves the room, we can hear them right outside.
Right outside.
And he's like a loud guy. Like he was
Yeah.
like loud and like all the
It
things.
was like they were talking about you as though you were like not a person, like an object.
Because I think whoever he was talking, I think it was the other, I don't know, I think it was the other doctor
It
that he
was
was
the other
talking to.
doctor. Yeah,
And I
yeah.
heard her say like, "No, she's in a lot of pain." Like from what I saw, she was in a lot of pain. But he was like, "No, she looked fine to me. I don't know what you saw, but she's like, I
Yeah,
don't think she's
they
in
were
any
just
pain.
kinda
Like, I don't
like-
think you need to give her anything. I think she's good to go." I'm like,
Yeah, it's like they were talking to like you were just another patient or just another person. Like
yeah.
it's like I understand that y'all are busy and like y'all got a lot of people and you're dealing with a lot, and I understand that, but like I just hate that you lose the
Humanity.
the humanity aspect of it, which it sucks because in the job I'm sure they see a lot of loss and you have to be able to deal with that, but like at least like have communication that is like more warming. Like you might see
Like,
this all
you
the
wanna
time.
care, yeah.
Yeah, but
I don't need to feel like you
don't
see this all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like this is you just found out an hour or two ago that you might be dying or you might be like, you don't know. So like at least talk to a person like, "Hey, this is going on. We're not sure what's going on 100%. We need to figure things out.
Yeah.
How are you feeling?" Like,
Yeah.
but it was none of that.
No.
It was none of that.
Yeah, it was like
That made me upset.
yeah.
Because I was like, we need to go to your person.
Yeah.
Because I know your person's going to actually look out
Yeah,
for you.
at that point, I think I did, because I think they did ask me like what I want to do. Like, I don't know if they wanted an answer then and there.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to take that shot to basically slow down whatever was happening,
Yeah,
or
you're like, no.
yeah, I was like, I would rather go to my doctor
Yeah.
and have her, check me out and make sure, like get a second opinion,
Yeah.
basically.
And we got home.
Yeah, so we got home.
They let us go because
They
they
let
couldn't
us
really
go.
figure out what was going on. They
Yeah.
just assumed that it was going to be a miscarriage.
Yeah, I think we got home at like 2 a.m. This
2
whole thing, we
a.m.
left we finished filming at like 5. 5 p.m. and like we said, initially went straight to the urgent care, and so we didn't get back home till 2 a.m. And I called my doctor, like the like emergency nurse line, and let them know what was going on. And she asked me a bunch of questions. I didn't talk to my doctor specifically, but I talked to the nurse that was there, and like, you know, she was asking me a bunch of questions, and like, in order to monitor because again, we don't know what's going on still. Like I'm still at risk for like bleeding out, basically. Like in this moment, we don't. So I'm like, what are we looking for? Like, how do we know that I'm okay? Like if we need to go back to da da da. And she's like, at this point, it's a matter of like tracking all the things I'm feeling. So if like the bleeding is consistent and the cramping is consistent, you know, then you should be fine till the next day, because they were going to make me an appointment for the next day. But she was like, if there's any level of increase in it, like if you're bleeding through your pads more, or your cramping is like becoming, you know, we're not really able to handle it, like go back to the emergency room. So. And
then also another thing that we're leaving out is the hormonal level.
Correct.
Because like if it's basically the doctor when we were at the emergency room said that it was like at 259.
Yeah, they took my blood, and the hormonal levels was at 259.
And if it increased, because we were supposed to get blood work done in the next 48 hours, if it increased dramatically, then that means you are going towards having the ectopic pregnancy. If it decreases, that means it's going towards a miscarriage.
Right.
So
yes,
we had to.
Yeah. So that was the thing. When we left the emergency room, they did say if you're going to leave, then you have to within 48 hours get your blood taken again. Like you cannot go past that 48 hours without getting my blood taken again, because if it's going up, that's catastrophic.
Yes. Yeah.
So knowing that, went home, called the nurse. They made an appointment for us the next day. And I go in to see my doctor, and they do another sonogram. I don't know if she was able to see anything on the sonogram, because even with the number.
She never explained that she saw anything.
I don't know.
Nor did the doctor.
Yeah, I don't know if they saw much. Because also with the number being 259, they also did say that most, like when you're pregnant, I think normal number is like 1,000, like in the thousands. So the fact that the number was so low, they were like, this is a very early pregnancy.
Yeah.
So I'm probably like no more than like 4 weeks pregnant.
Yeah.
At most. So that might have been why whatever they saw was so small, is because I'm so early in the pregnancy. So when we go to my doctor, she didn't really like say anything about seeing anything, but she did like kind of explain better what was going on. And her first thing was like, I told her everything that happened, and I was like, oh, by the way, my IUD is still in place. Because remember, this is what I thought was happening. I thought my IUD was dislocated, so I forgot. I did ask the doctor. I was like, is my IUD still even there?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh yeah, it's still in place. It's still doing its thing. Well, not doing its. It's not doing what. It's not doing its job, but it's there. So I tell her that. I'm like, so the IUD is still in place. She was like, wait, they didn't take it out? And I was like, no, they didn't take it out because da da da. And she was like, no, well, regardless, you're pregnant right now.
Yeah, the very first thing that needs to happen is
the IUD needs to come out.
Yeah.
So she literally takes, that's literally immediately what she does. Is like, she calls the nurse, they bring whatever stuff, and she takes that thing out with a quickness.
Yeah, and she was like, you're going to feel cramps. She's like, oh.
Man. That thing, that was a whole different feeling. But so she took it out, and what else did she say? I forgot. What else was she talking to us about in there?
She just basically said that she just explained the same thing that the guy explained.
But I feel like she explained it better. Like I feel like we left with a better understanding of what was happening.
Well, when the guy told us, I had understood it about the going up and going down numbers, but she basically said we're just going to keep monitoring to make sure to see where your blood levels go. And she explained the whole situation again about what can happen. She said that it's an abortion. Remember, she clarified that.
Yeah, I think medically it's
defined as an unplanned abortion, but I mean, we call it miscarriage because society has
she said it basically just feels better for the patient instead of calling it abortion.
And then she basically was like, you need heavy monitoring. Like, just make sure,
she was like, no activity.
Has to be around you. You can't do any activity. Basically, if the way you know it gets worse is if you pass out.
Yeah, because that is what I asked her. I was like, okay, well, what do we know? Like, what are we looking for? Like, how do we know I'm okay and like something's not rupturing? And she was like, if you pass out.
That's And then she said, don't allow any other doctors to apply any pressure
Correct.
on you because like we don't know what's going on.
Yeah, she does. She was like, don't let them go in there squeezing and like trying to feel
Yeah.
around for nothing because something can.
You want an ultrasound.
Yeah.
You want an ultrasound to be able to. And the funny thing is, the first lady did that. Remember, she was squishing on your stomach.
Oh, the first doctor.
The very first lady was squishing on your
she
stomach.
did. I didn't even remember that.
To try to see
the
what
first
was
doctor
going
in the
on.
urgent care, the one she didn't have a sonogram.
Yeah.
So she
was
started
just
squeezing around.
So it's just very important that you didn't do anything crazy.
Yeah.
So,
And I have to give you your, I don't even say props because it sounds like that's not it. It's something more important. Like since the moment all this started, you have not left my side. Like
Yeah.
you have been on such high alert, like making sure I'm taken care of, like everything, not even just everything I need, but just like even when we got home, like you didn't want to leave. You want to make sure you're always here with me. Like you don't want me doing anything, like, and you're always like watching over and taking care of me. And even when we were in the hospital and everything was happening, like you were the one in communication with my mom and my dad and with our, close family. We had a couple of friends who like called and checked in and like you kept everybody updated on my behalf and like all those things that are so important that are like other, I don't know how to explain like that as like other duties that like just things I can't do for myself. You knew was important enough for me to like make sure you keep my mom updated and my dad updated. And I feel like that's one of those things when you marry somebody, those are the things that I guess you expect from them or like would hope that they would do and care enough about. And I remember having a moment where I was thinking about it because in my past relationship, I remember I had like I remember having a moment. I don't remember what was happening that day, but I remember having this like the strongest feeling where I was like, if something ever happened to me, I do not trust this man to take care of things correctly.
Yeah.
Like in my head, I just imagined him like if something happened to me, I'm like he would be arguing with my mom about stuff and like just causing destruction. And I remember having that like fear or like that being a moment where I was like, that can't be like the person that I'm with. And so I think in that moment and like us going through that for the first time, like neither of us have experienced anything like that before. And like going through that together, not only were you there for me in my time of need and like being strong for me and like taking me to these appointments and like doing all these things, like you weren't only doing that, you were like covering all these other areas of making sure I was good, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So I appreciate you for that.
Oh,
I thank you for that.
I am the MVP. I'm the husband MVP of your life. I'm the only one and will be the only one. Nah, I just... I mean, I care about you. What do you want me to say? I appreciate that.
Yeah, but that doesn't come like naturally to everybody. Like I didn't have to sit there and tell you to do these things.
Yeah.
I feel like there's this thing people say like weaponized incompetence, where it's like because you don't know how to do something, then you just don't do it. Or if you don't know how to do something, like if I ask you to, if you're like, oh yeah, I'll like I need to cook, I'll cook today or something. But like you cooking means like asking me every single thing and every single step of the way, where it's like, damn, I might as well have just done it myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of women experience that when it comes to the men in their life. So I feel like in moments like that, like to have a partner that can just take care of stuff, where you don't have to like babysit him and monitor him while you're going through your own thing, is such like a mental load is like lifted that I can just like focus on me and like not have to worry about everything else, all the other stuff going on. So anyways, yeah, so we left the OBGYN, that we made an appointment the next day for her to get blood work, because at this point we're just like seeing which direction the numbers go. If it goes up, it's bad. If it goes down, it's still bad because it's a miscarriage, but it's it's a better situation for me. So we went and get the blood work done that next day, and the day after we get the results, and the numbers did go down.
Yeah, it went down.
It went down from 259 to
111.
111. So the doctor was very happy to hear that. That's definitely trending towards a miscarriage. I know when we talked to, I think when I talked to my mom about it, I know she asked me, she was like, I feel like she was asking me like, how are you doing mentally? Da, da, da. I'm like, it's a lot. I'm still like processing stuff, but I think I'm good. But she asked me specifically, like, how do you, like with it being a miscarriage, like how do you feel? And I think the best way I can explain it is that I feel like I don't, because my choices really were, I can either have an ectopic pregnancy and like possibly die, or I can have a miscarriage and be okay. If those are my choices, then the miscarriage is
the obvious choice.
The obvious choice, and like because of that, I don't feel like I felt the weight of like a miscarriage. Like we weren't planning on having kids. I had the IUD in. We weren't planning on doing that right now. So I think because of that, we didn't have that. At least for me, I'll let you say how you felt about it, but I didn't feel the weight of like a major loss.
Yeah.
We did have that ray of hope of like, oh wow, it could be a actual pregnancy, like that'd be really dope. But we knew it was a very small chance. We were excited at that small chance, but like the overwhelmingly we knew it probably wouldn't be that. And so, yeah. Did you feel the same way, or do you feel like it was a miscarriage?
Did I feel like feeling like, what do you mean?
Like that we lost something.
I didn't necessarily feel like we lost something. I more felt sad because I was like, when you said, like when we found out you were pregnant, I was like, man, this is amazing. Like I'm excited. I can't wait to like take this on. Like it made me feel as though like I had more responsibilities. Like I need to take things a little bit more serious in life. Even though I do take things serious, like I got more responsibilities. So
you were in dad mode.
Yeah, like
immediately.
It like converted me mentally. So for me, I was sad when I found out the numbers were going lower, because even I was kind of holding on to that small glimmer of hope
that it might be a viable pregnancy.
So, but I wasn't maybe as though you are actually regularly pregnant, and I'm all of a sudden like you have a miscarriage or something, and I feel I think that would be different. I would probably be a little bit more upset, but I was upset.
Yeah.
Because I want to have kids. I want to make little babies with you.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know it will come, but yeah, that's my only thing.
Yeah.
But I would prefer you to be healthy.
Well, obviously.
Yeah. So that's okay. I'm okay with you being healthy.
Yeah.
More than anything. So.
Yeah. So once those numbers came down, that was obviously a good sign. It's still, right now, we're still in the mid, like these things are that first result of the numbers going down, that literally just happened 4 days ago. And then she wanted me to get my blood work done again yesterday to make sure the numbers are still trending down. What was interesting though, when the numbers went down, and we went home, and she was like, okay, yeah, just get another blood test done on Monday. We went home, and like over the weekend, like I started feeling better. Like that was my first time that I started feeling better, where I was like bleeding less cramping. I was finally starting to like get back to normal, I felt like. So, and that's on trend with like what the doctor said, like with the numbers going back down, like you should be progressively getting better. And so on Monday, that was the first day after we got our blood test done. And then on Tuesday, is that when you went to go film, or was that on Monday as well? You went to film
Monday, like yesterday.
Oh, that was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Today's Tuesday.
Today's Tuesday.
Oh, snap. So yeah, so Monday we went to get the blood test done, and then because I was feeling better, like you went to go film with Lonnie But he was like, if anything happens,
Yeah.
call me immediately.
Like if you start feeling lightheaded or anything,
Yeah.
just like immediately hit me.
Yeah. You actually were like, it's better to call your mom or something because she's closer. But he was like, call me and like let me know.
Call your mom because she's closer to
Yeah.
in proximity.
But at this point we're still thinking like I'm kind of not in the clear, but just
you're
like
feeling better
I was like
weekend.
up, I'm
over
walking.
The weekend, you're starting to walk. We went out and celebrated a friend's birthday and engagement Saturday night.
Yeah, so I'm starting feeling better, and I even was like, we had Blair had given us a heating pad for me to use, and I was like, oh yeah, you can bring this back to her. Like fine. I'm good. I was like, I'm just gonna stay home because I'm finally feeling better. I'm like, I can clean up, I can like get things back on track. Like I'm starting to feel good. When I tell you, maybe 30 minutes after you left, I was back at square one. I was like, what in the, like the cramping was back. I started bleeding like crazy. Yeah. I'm like, what is going on? Like I'm like, I don't know how everything just regressed out of nowhere. By the time you came back home, I was back laid out on the couch. I had the heating pad because he forgot. You didn't bring the heating pad with you because you forgot it. And I'm like, thank goodness. I'm like, so I don't even know. I still don't know why it happened. And I think that today, that's why I'm still kind of like, still trying to bounce back. Like I'm still kind of feeling all the feelings. But we got the blood test results back this morning, and the numbers are still going down.
Yeah, they're 40 now.
They're at 40.
Yeah,
so
which is
very
amazing
good.
News.
Very good.
So at least we know, like, you're trending towards having a miscarriage. And what I think it was or is like your body still has to do the miscarriage portion. So I like everyone has that pain. So I think, in my opinion, I feel like this week you'll probably have the miscarriage or something like that, or this week or maybe next week, because now like since your IUD is gone,
yes,
like your body can be like, all right, we can actually get this thing out.
Yeah. When we talked to the nurse today, she was basically saying, because I asked her about it, I was like, I don't know why, like everything is back bad. Like I feel like I was making progress, and I even had like a moment last night where I kind of broke down because I was like, I'm like, I'm just tired of feeling like shit. Like this is like a solid 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Of bleeding and cramping, and like not being able to function, and not, you know, I haven't been like really able to like cook. I haven't been able to like do like things, getting like even filming our sketches like to post on like Instagram and like everything. I just feel like I want to get my life back to normal, and it just felt like the moment like where things were starting to get better, it like just got taken all away. I literally was up and like ready to, like when you left, I was up and ready to, like I had all these things. I was like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I could do this. And then like.
Just like that.
Yeah, so I had a moment where I was like really, really frustrated. I felt disappointed in myself because I'm like, I don't know, I felt like I know I'm not feeling well, and I know you've never like made me feel like I should be doing more, but I was like, I'm not doing my duties as a wife to make sure you're taken care of. Like I was tired of being like this just like weak person that just needs to be like taken care of. Like I'm over it. So I had a moment where I like broke down, and I was just like feeling like really shitty about everything, but it is what it is. I know most importantly I have to take care of myself and make sure I'm good. So I understand that. We have to go and get a sonogram done next week to see if there's anything else that needs to be handled in the tubes and all the things. But that's
basically it. That's what's happened for the past week or two, and it's just been a lot. Because even I've been wanting to try to be more focused on the content and stuff, but it's like, well, content doesn't even work out if I don't have a partner to do that with. So that's if y'all follow us on other platforms and stuff, that's probably why we haven't been uploading so much, especially like on Instagram and stuff. It's because we've been more focused on getting Shan to like where she needs to be. So
I'd be trying to power through though.
You be trying to power
Yesterday
through.
I was like, no, he was like canceling our film. We were supposed to film like sketches today.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I'm fine.
And she's like, I'm okay. And I'm like, all right, we'll stand up and do this. And she's like, she tries to hide it, but she'll grimace all extra hard. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm like, no. No.
In
we're
my
not
head, I'm
doing
like,
that.
he'll never know if I just.
Yeah. She's like, oh, he'll never. No, I see it in your face, literally. And I would much rather like not film for the rest of the month and know that you're gonna be healed than
Yeah.
we do a skit and then you accidentally fall on your side or hip
Yeah.
and rupture something and then you're dead. And then now it's because we tried to film a sketch. It's like what? Like
That'd be
you know
crazy,
how
huh?
terrible I would feel
Yeah, that'd be
as
crazy.
a person. And so it's like it's my responsibility to make sure you're okay
Yes,
when you're not okay.
you're right.
So even right now, we really weren't even supposed to be filming this.
Yeah, but because
But
like it just requires me sitting
Sitting
down.
down, I was like, that's cool. And then I was like, man, I can't cancel on Jordan. I be moving days with Jordan all the damn time. I call Jordan the day of. He could have been at home. He could have been playing pickleball for more than 10 minutes today. He could have been playing, he right here, y'all. Y'all can't see him, but he could have been playing pickleball.
Yeah.
So I was like, nah, I gotta get Jordan over here. He gotta do his thing. You just gotta sit
Yeah.
down and we just gonna talk.
Yeah, because it's an interesting thing. It's like life is still happening.
Yeah.
Like there's still things that we have to do and take care of. Like, and it just sucks when like you have things that like this that arise. And I feel like it's
Yeah.
interesting too, like watching how we're figuring out how to navigate this. This is a first for both of us, and like.
Yeah.
You know, we work for ourselves. We're entrepreneurs, and like, if we
So
don't,
if
we don't
make
work,
money
we don't
unless
work.
yeah. But we have been blessed lately to be in a situation where we are getting a good amount of finances coming our way. So it's not like, oh my gosh, we are in poverty and don't have any
No.
money and damn, we don't have it. There are people who got it worse, like they don't have health insurance and they might be going through what you're going through. So we are pretty blessed to be in this situation that we
Yeah.
are in, even though it's not good. So I'm appreciative of that.
Yeah, I'm appreciative
But
too.
I think it does suck when like 'cause my plans for this month was for us to go hard, and me and Shan are really trying to build like our long form. Like I love making sketches, long form storylines and stuff like that. So this month was the month that I really wanted to like dig down and like get back to that, you know, and put it out and create systems. And it's like this month has not been conducive to being productive in my
it
life.
ain't been easy.
Everything has been hitting like
Yeah.
wrong. And then I forgot my mom's coming in town on Friday. I told my mom last night, she didn't even know what was going on with Shan.
Oh yeah.
So my brain has been so all over the place.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't really told.
A lot of
Anybody,
people,
yeah.
but like it's hard when you're more like my brain is more focused on your health, and then I can't really think of ideas or skits. And you know, everybody's like, well, you can do something where she's, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm like I just don't feel right.
No, yeah,
It
we did
doesn't
have
feel
that
right.
moment. We were like, when we were filming the sketch that day before I went to the urgent care.
Yeah.
I think it might have been Blair's idea. She was like, oh, you guys can like film some content there, so that way like, you know, you can use that for like a later skit, like, or, you know,
Yeah.
like you be able to use that for a skit. And so we're like, oh yeah, we can probably do that. But by the time we got to the emergency room and I was in the, like after everything was
Yeah.
happening, we were like,
I'm thinking about, I literally just heard an hour ago that my wife might die. I am not thinking, oh, let me get content. Like that's not how we operate.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
not how I want to operate.
yeah.
So we can just tell y'all that what happened. We got to put a whole skit behind it. If we need
Yeah.
a hospital bed, we can go rent out one in the studio or something
Yeah.
like that. So
So we just wanted to give y'all a little update. I think
yeah,
that takes up.
basically this week's
That's the whole episode.
That's the whole episode. We've probably been talking for like 2 hours.
Yeah, I
just
think it's
this
been about
situation.
50 minutes. So that's, yep,
Okay. Well.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the end of the episode.
Yeah. Well, that's the end of this episode. That's what's happened.
Yeah, but I'm okay. I'm in a little bit of pain right now, but things are improving and trending upwards. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're good.
We're good. We're good. You forgot. It's okay.
It's all right.
All right, y'all. We'll see you on the next episode. Peace.